Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another electrifying episode of Megafone, where we amplify the voices of today's brightest talents, brightest stars in the film industry. Now we have a special treat for y'all with crime thriller. Yes, a crime thriller. We'll see the trailer right after this introduction. John Whane, a seasoned storyteller, producer, and director whose career spans over 2 decades in the entertainment industry, beginning as a production assistant on George Tillman's Scenes for the Soul. JW's passion for filmmaking was ignited then. His collaboration with Grammy nominated producer Steve Silk Hurley saw him rise to director of international A&R, providing invaluable insights into the global music scene. Returning to media production, he founded his own company, crafting over 200 music videos for renowned artists. His award-winning films and documentaries have cemented his status as a prominent figure in the industry. With an unwavering commitment to excellence, JW's, JW's continuously pushing creative boundaries, captivating audiences worldwide with his captivating narratives. Join us as we delve into the remarkable journey of a storyteller whose work knows no bounds. So, John Whane, it's an absolute pleasure to have you here.
Thank you so much. I'm so honored to be on your platform. I'm always encouraged by that when people allow me into that space to talk. When you was reading those accolades, I was like, wow, who is that guy? I want to meet him.
Yeah, and with your extensive experience in the entertainment industry and your incredible talent for crafting gripping narratives, we can't wait to then dive deep into the world of Ebony Hustle 2. Ebony, I think that's how I heard the characters say in the film Ebony 2 Hustle 2, and explore the secrets behind its making. So the film is also available on YouTube for free. I mean, that's how the three of us were able to see it, and we'll let you know what the audience members thinks too. But we found that on YouTube, so that is free to watch on YouTube, as far as we can tell, isn't it?
Yeah, so Ebony Hustle 1 is available pretty much everywhere. If you Google it, you can find it a place to view it in pretty much all regions. Ebony Hustle, the second one, is available on Tubi. It's available on Amazon, and it's available on Hoopla and a couple other platforms. Probably next week on Peacock and things of the sort. So it just really depends on what region you're in that you can actually see it.
And you're not alone, because joining us also is the esteemed Paulo Oliveira, a true luminary in the world of film. With a passion for storytelling and commitment to excellence, Paula brings a wealth of experience and insight to our conversation. So welcome back, Paula. We're delighted to have you.
Thank you, Rodrigo. It's a pleasure for me to be here again, and this time to have the opportunity to talk to John Whane.
And last but certainly not least is Wesley, not Safadão, not Wesley Safadão. His name is Wallace Marcus, a skilled actor and esteemed cast director. Wesley's contributions to the world of entertainment is beyond is beyond impressive, beyond interesting. So and like they're nothing short of extraordinary. With a love for rock and roll also. As you can tell by his face, he loves rock and roll. And he infuses rock and roll with his work. So Wesley, we're delighted to have you again.
Oh, thank you so much. It's a really pleasure to me to be with you guys here, especially John Whane, to hear about our experience, about you, and about the Ebony Hustle 2. It's a very, very good movie. So thank you for this opportunity again. And let's start.
Okay.
Yes, as soon as the intro is over with, you folks will watch the movie trailer and then we'll dive into the conversation. Filme sobre crime.
To give you, but got our hand down with me all the time. See, that's that bullshit.
Goddamn
out. The
out!
mud flex the muscle. I had to knock him on out, I had to tussle.
Well, John, first question is, what has inspired you to delve into the crime thriller genre? Was there a specific moment or history that sparked this idea to you?
So traditionally, when I pick ideas for movies and concepts, they're usually based off of a lot of different things. In this particular instance, Ebony Hustle came from the distributor I was working with. The distributor wanted to do kind of like a Foxy Brown type character, someone, you know, who could be like a strong, empowering woman. And they wanted to kind of do like a blaxploitation type picture. So we came up with the concept of Ebony Hustle. Ebony Hustle is like, she's an ex-stripper turns private investigator. She is a mix between, like, there used to be an old US show called The Rockford Files. I don't know if you remember it, but Rockford Files is about this guy who went to prison, and when he got out of prison, he used all the people he knew in prison to try to help him solve crime. So Ebony does the same thing. Ebony uses people that she knew when she was a stripper to help her, from the bouncers to bartenders and other strippers, to help her solve crimes.
Okay, yeah, I've seen the second question goes strictly on that. She's a female private investigator. So one thing that I thought it was interesting in your movie is that we can see her very, how can I say, competent in working and finding and solving crimes. She's good on that. She used her friendship environment and net to do that. But you also see her as a woman, as with the challenges and all the human spirit, and you mix this very well in the movie. You can feel her as a person, also with feelings, with heart, with relationship issues to solve, and this for me it was a surprise in your movie, how we could see this together. Could you please tell us about that a little more, how you build this character, and what kind of, how can I say, help did you have from women to have this or not? How was this construction?
So a lot of my team that I work with are women. I work with a lot of women.
Oh.
One of my producing partners is a woman. My writing partner has been writing with me over 20 years. She's a woman. So we had a lot of influence. And then we also had a consulting producer who used to be a stripper back in the day. She is now the president of the Houston Black Journalists Association, but she used to be a stripper. So when the distributor came to me and asked me about doing this character, I was all excited, and I got off the phone and I talked to my producing partner. It's like, I don't know any strippers. I don't even know who to talk to because I don't know any strippers. And so she said, which is weird, she was like, you know what? I know someone who just told me they used to be a stripper. I said, really? That's a weird conversation. She's like, yeah, they just told me this. And so it just kind of really worked really well. It was just really good timing. And after I talked to her, got a lot of insight, and I went to my partner, writing partner, Seth Black. We were able to create a story that about a woman who was strong, empowered, who knew exactly what she wanted to do. She's not perfect.
Yeah.
She has a flaw.
Amazing, yeah.
You know, her biggest flaw is that she likes young guys. Like any great superhero, they have a kryptonite. Her kryptonite is young guys. If you really see that in the first Ebony Hustle, where she really gets drawn into this, you know, talking to this young guy. The second one is really a basketball movie about a guy who happens to be going to this basketball combine. She's young, but she likes young guys. That's not a good or bad thing. That's a personal choice. But that is her thing that she likes. So I had a lot of help from women to create this character because I'm not a woman, but I come up good stories. But they were able to really kind of put the emotion behind who she was and why she was doing certain things.
Yeah, it was really interesting to see a movie, a thriller,
Yeah, it was more
action
about,
movie with this kind of background that we can also identify ourselves with this character. I think now Wesley has a question for you.
Yeah, that's my turn. So, John, your movie, Ebony Hustle 2, appears to blend elements of correcting past mistakes with looking toward the future. Could you please tell us, how did you approach balancing these themes throughout the film? And please, what message do you hope audience take away from it?
Okay, so there are a couple of stories, as you saw in the movie. There are a couple of storylines in the movie. There's a storyline, obviously, of Ebony meeting the basketball player and kind of having a love affair. Then there's a story of Ebony being a private investigator and someone coming to her to do a paternity test that they, want them to find out to do it. The other storyline, which kind of bleeds from the first Ebony Hustle, is that when Ebony Hustle earlier, there was one of her friends. Her name was Onyx, who was a stripper too, and Onyx got killed. And Ebony is noted for being there for her friends and things of that sort. But when Ebony got killed, she wasn't there. She wasn't able to help her. And so this theme that goes throughout the movie, which will eventually be solved in other sequels, is Ebony trying to solve the crime. So when we start Ebony Hustle 2, she's having these nightmares about Onyx and the conversations she's had with Onyx and how she wasn't there. So it haunts her. And she talks to one of her other friends. And it's like, hey, I need to do something about this. And so she goes and talks to a woman who used to run a strip club to try to get more insight. And at the end of the movie, we kind of get a glimpse in that we're going to try to eventually solve this crime about Ebony and those things. So there's like 3 stories kind of going along in this story about crime and how she solves crimes and how she deals with life and love, relationships, and things. And so it's like a balance of a real person. We're all complex beings. We all have different things going on in our life. When I got up this morning and drank water, you might have drank coffee. You got kids to deal with. I tell my kids to get out the shower because you're taking too long. We all have complex stories that we're dealing with, and Ebony is the same way.
Let me just say one thing that I found interesting in your movie. Was the end of the movie. Normally, when the crime is solved, it comes the end. And when she solved the crime, when she delivered the girl to her mother, I thought the film would finish there. And for my surprise, it did not. And there was a letter from the mother to her. And she was so emotional with that. She cried with that. So this for me was something very precious, because when we see crime movies, we do not see the consequences for good and for bad. And this consequence brought us the humanity side of what she had done. This was very, very nice. I wanted to congratulate you for that. I think I cannot remember other film that has pushed my attention to that. And when you hear the other, it's okay because it's going to be like a sequence and there will be another. But the sequence could be only the other mother asking her to look for her son, but no, you had this answer from the previous mother. This was fantastic. Congratulations. Okay.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. We back in the day, television program and shows had like a balance of moral things. So it's a cause and effect. So if somebody did something at the end of the television show, it'd cause why you should or shouldn't have done that. We don't really get that too much now in television and film. It's pretty much, you don't really know. There's no tie up. There's no fix to it. So I wanted to show that Ebony, although she's very complex in Ebony 1, but I also wanted to show she's a human being, that she actually helped somebody. She touched somebody in a way that, you know, in that particular case in Ebony 1, nobody wanted to listen to the mother. Nobody wanted to help the mother. And so she wanted to show her gratitude to, like, thank you so much. And we don't get to thank you. And we live in an age of social media, and social media is very about things that really don't necessarily exist. You never really get that human touch of somebody actually saying thank you for the things you've done to them.
Yeah, this was amazing. This was something very, very precious that I found in the movie. The thing that has most impressed me, because we are used to see crime movies, but this was, for me, the first time I saw this type of recognition of a value of something important that someone has done. This is really nice. We need more examples like that in the movies and in the world.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I give that a lot to the women that work around me. They brought that compassion to it to ensure that people will have that type of touch in the story.
Okay.
So, by the way, that movie right there is a great one for the month of March, which is Women's International Day. Don't you think? So that movie is so fitting for the month of March.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yes, thank you. I appreciate that. It has a lot of strong women themes, and I think a lot of women will draw some strength from that.
My mom saw the film, and that's the first thing she commented. Wow, I love movies that show women, with that empowering, that empowers women. Women, strong-minded women, intelligent women that fight, women that, that's the first thing that stood out to my mom. And then she had the subtitles that I put in weren't the best, but she could still tell from the first couple of minutes watching the film, couple of minutes into the film, and she could already notice that.
Very good. That is very, the fun thing about it is that all the time when we're writing concepts, we're usually trying to look for social things and music that we can kind of put around it. When people see the movie and they have these different ideas about stuff, a lot of times I'm touched because I didn't really think that far into it. I'm just trying to really write a strong character, but people find so much that they connect with a lot of times in that particular storyline.
Wesley, I think it's
okay. Yeah, it's something more about you, John. Yeah. Your career has spanned both film and music production, with notable experience in both industries. Please, how does your background in music influence your filmmaking process, particularly in crafting the atmosphere and mood of your films? Can you please tell us about this?
So my background in music started almost 3 decades ago, and a lot of it was just a little bit about my story, a Cliff Note version. I wanted to be a doctor. I wanted to focus in geriatric medicine. I was not trying to be a filmmaker.
Wow.
And so the summer that I needed to pick a medical school when I was an undergrad, this production manager come to me and said that I had left a message on the answer machine about working on an indie film. And I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. We went back and forth. I ultimately went in. I was a manager of this parking garage, and I had just lost my job. So I didn't, why not go and talk to him? So a second assistant director's position on a film called Sings for the Soul. I didn't know the filmmaker from anybody else. They were working on, they needed a production assistant. They were paying they were working 16 hours a day, 6 days a week. They paid me like $50 a week. I didn't know him from anybody else. I was just working on a movie. Ironically enough, this guy, George Tillman, he had won the Student Academy Award. He's going on to do Notorious, Soul Food, a lot of really big budget pictures, but this is his first film out of film school. I met a guy who didn't go to film school. He went to a community workshop, and eventually we started doing music videos. And from that, we did a lot of music videos. And one of the persons we did music videos for was Steve Hurley. Steve Hurley is a big notable producer in America. He is known for being one of the first guys. He's mostly a house producer, but he does other stuff. were crossing over a house track in the UK to the pop charts. Nobody had ever done that before. And so he had this song called Jack Your Body, which was a big house hit. He was starting the deal, and he's like, "Hey, John, why don't you come and be a publicist, you know, for what I'm trying to do?" And I'm like, "I don't know anything about being a publicist." He's like, "I think you could do it." And I ended up staying 3 years, eventually becoming a director of international A&R, run this office in the UK and Japan. So music is a lot about who I am as a person. It is how I communicate. It is how I understand life, and it's how I connect with people. The same thing when it comes to music and movies. People emotionally take trips with you, journeys with you through the music. The music can make you happy, sad. It's an emotional connection. So I try to use it as emotional connection. We do all original music for all our movies, even for the composers. It's all original music. Everything is written for the film. That is very tiring and it's very expensive sometimes, but I think it's rewarding because it allows the audience to connect better. I can go out and license some music and find something that kind of fits and everything. I think it fits in its role, but it's different when you listen to the lyrics. The lyrics are talking about what's happening in the movie, and it's a better connection to it, you know. So I use the experience I have in music, understanding how music works and what I learned working at the label, to make sure that people connect very well with it, you know, with the music. So they tirelessly connect together because of just my understanding of how music works and how people connect with it. Because the soundtracks, you can get them everywhere. They're on Apple, Amazon, you know, pretty much wherever you stream music, you can get them. And so it allows people to listen to the music. And if they like the music, they'll go and say, "Hey, I want to see what that movie is about," you know. And so it's the connection that I try to draw people more to see the movie.
Yeah, this is quite important. We also, since the beginning, we have a person that is an amazing composer, and all the movies we do, even this animation I was telling you, he has composed the music for each character, and it makes the difference. I totally agree with you. When you have the music composed to the movie, it's another level of experience to the audience.
Now, like, it's so obnoxious when you watch those indie films and they fill the scenes with that just one note, not piano, but sometimes string, you know, a string that goes on and on, you know, until this is so obnoxious. It's one of the things I hate the most about indie films, you know, that just one single note that goes straight until, like, goes into your ears, and it's like, oh, it's so obnoxious, you know. It's so, you know, they try to create that dramatic music effect, and they fail miserably because, of course, you know, like, maybe like their kids play the keyboard and just push the note. That's what it sounds like. That's how bad it is. So yes, it's one of the things I love the most when filmmakers to put music into the film. It elevates the film to a whole different level.
Yes, I agree. But you know, a lot of times filmmakers don't do it because it takes a lot of effort, and you have to. It's almost the idea of why you're doing this. You know, if you're getting into this business because you feel like you want to make a whole bunch of money, great, you probably will do that. But if you get it because you want to express your creativity, I'm a creator who's creative, and so I want to express, you know. Even if I never got a dime from this business, I never made any money, the ability to express my creativity is so important to me. It's who I am as a person. It's how I get up out the bed each morning, you know. So if you're doing it for that, then I think you'll find all the fulfillment.
Correct. Because if you're doing that just for the money or for fame, like we were speaking to a gentleman who said exactly that last week. He said, okay, folks, do not do that. I mean, don't like, make sure that you pick a spot in the music or film industry, and you stick to it, because if you don't know what, like, if you're just there for the money or for fame, you're not going to get anywhere.
It's not sustainable. No.
You're not going to survive in the industry.
Sure.
Yes, I agree. Yes.
You have to work on it because you want to do that. When you want to do that, you do good. Yes. This is amazing. Well, now let's talk a little about doing a sequence of movies with the same crew, same casting. What challenges did you encounter with bringing Ebony Hustle 2? You have the 1, 2, and it looks like there's going to be a 3 for her looking for the
I hope so.
boy, and what are the challenges to, especially together, the casting commitment to the project, operational, how can I say, difficulties? You have to keep continuity of it or not? How to bond the story from one movie to the other, and without losing the unique how can I say, personality of each movie. For example, I have watched Ebony Hustle 2. I have not watched Ebony Hustle 1, and I did not miss it. It was a complete movie for me, but I could see there was some bonds that I was not entirely understanding. So can you talk about that a little? How to do a series of movies, of complete movies, not like those series you see on TV.
So a lot of things to that is that it's how you create the story. So ultimately, when you write television or you write for film and you're going to do a franchise type picture, you have to know exactly where you're going to end up at. People know where they're going to start, but you need, before you start writing, you need to know what's the end game. Where are you trying to get to? So I already know where Ebony is going to. You know, I already have what we're going to do for 3. I already know what we're going to do for 4. So I already know what we're going to. So when I write, when the team writes the scripts, we know where we're going. We know what we're doing. We spend a lot of time in character development. Each character has birthdays, favorite colors, there's childhood history, their parents are still living. Because what happens is that when you're writing and you don't spend that time developing a character, what happens is that you have characters just to do anything with no explanation. You have a school teacher who's real nice and pure, and all of a sudden she's, you know, doing drugs, and you're kind of like, well, why would she do that? You know, because people don't spend the time developing characters. So I know where the story is going to, so it makes a little bit of the process a little easier to write the sequels, because I know where we're taking it to. Also, too, with Ebony Hustle 2, we shot in 2 different cities. We shot in Houston and we shot in Atlanta. That was really hard. Wow. We hadn't really done that in a while, to do it in 2 different places, and the logistics of 2 different crews. There's some crew that spilled over into to both cities shooting, but a lot of it was like 2 separate crews working and trying to keep the consistency of that was hard in some cases, you know, trying to everybody, one in Atlanta and in Houston, communicating with each other, like what she had on in this scene, what did she didn't have on, and can she wear this, or did this character do this?
Is complicated.
You know, that's a very, very complicated, you know. So it comes from working with some really strong team members. It works with people who are also committed to bringing this to marketing to fruition. So it turned out to be a really good project. We didn't really have any problems with it. I mean, everything pretty much just ran really smoothly. So I was really happy about that. And Ebony Hustle 1, we only shot in Houston, so we pretty much had the same crew, the consistency. But Ebony Hustle 3, we probably would shoot somewhere else, probably either Atlanta or New Mexico, one of the 2. And that would be a totally different crew. I still have my core people, like the producers and the writers and things of that sort, but we probably will use different technicians going forward.
Oh, yeah. I think this goes a little inside my next question, is that is about collaboration. Collaboration is often crucial in filmmaking. And can you share some more insights about the collaborative process behind the Ebony Hustle 2? You talk about two different cities. And I think you have already answered, but if you have something more to tell us about this experience.
So collaboration is key. I tell people all the time, I'm not making movies just for myself. You know? Yeah. So I have to think of it as a way to have other people's ideas and insight. So we do a lot of product placement in the movie. We collaborate with a lot of product placement companies, and to try to find seamlessly integrate. Like in Ebony Hustle 2, we had the GMG basketball league, which is the Global Mixed Gender Basketball, which is a real league that men and women actually play basketball in. Then we had Electra Beverage. One of the actors is drinking Electra Beverage. Then Pro Black Health, when Ebony's having a big argument with her friend and they have the big logo right there. They're all collaboration. They're all trying to find seamless ways to integrate things into it. So I believe in collaboration until I get to the point where I'm Steven Spielberg. I'm only doing movies for myself. I want to collaborate with other people, other brands and other producers and things of that sort, to say, hey, how can we make this happen? What can we do to get what you need to get done and get what we need to get done to have a very, good teamwork to collaborate to bring that message clearly to the audience?
Yeah, this is really important. One thing, of course, we are still independent producers here in Brazil, but one thing that I had since the beginning is the idea of giving opportunity to big talented people that has not had their chance yet. I always try to bring them to the contest, to our productions, and let them explode in creativity. It's amazing how many opportunities we have already favored to those people, and how they create excellent things. This is really something that I really believe. If you're doing everything by yourself, it doesn't get good. And
so a couple of years ago, I realized this during the pandemic. I realized that I can produce a lot of stuff, but I can't direct everything. So I really started to look for filmmakers who had done commercials and music videos and things of that sort, but hadn't done features, who really they hadn't had the opportunity presented to them, So I went out for the first Ebony Hustle. I had there was a guy that I had been talking with, I've known and worked on some other project with, young guy. He'd done a lot of music videos and commercials, and he hadn't done a feature. His name is Jamaz Hampton. He directed the first Ebony Hustle. This was his first feature. And my thing about it is that when you go and talk to executives and you're trying to pitch stuff, it's a different conversation when you go to them and say, hey, Google me and you can see all my stuff, versus let me send you a link. So now when he sits at the table, he tells people, well, let me see your work, and say, well, you can just Google me and you'll see it's pretty much everywhere. And that is the different conversation. Now, when he gets to the table, he has to have something to say. I can't, he needs to be able to have something to entice them. But I can give him the opportunity to sit there and say, hey, this is what I've done. This is what the world has seen. So I try to create opportunities with filmmakers of doing that. I have a couple of projects where I've also, some other young filmmakers are going to work and get their opportunity to do their first feature, or if they've already done a feature, to kind of expand and help them to go to the next level. So I'm real big in that. When I started, I didn't have a mentor. I didn't really have anybody per se to kind of guide me through. I made a lot of mistakes, tons of mistakes.
Imagine me during the COVID.
Yeah, I can't even read it. Just tons of mistakes, but I learned from them. Yeah, and every single time I do something, I get more insight into myself, and also inside of being a producer. So I want to give that same opportunity to someone else. Sometimes filmmakers just need a sounding board to say, like, do you think this is right or whatever? They need that. And so I want to be able to provide that and opportunity for them to go to the next level.
Sure. Oh, this is very, very nice of you. I'm starting to be your fan for that too.
You have over 2 decades of experience in the entertainment industry. So what changes have you observed in audience preference and the storytelling trends? And how do you adapt your approach to stay relevant, please?
Okay. Yeah. So I'm a filmmaker. I come from physical film, development process. That's the way I started off. You know, when I was doing music videos, we would like get the short ends and rent the, you know, we have rented this 35 BL camera. This guy was rented to it for like on the weekend for $250, rented 7. So I come from film, develop process and the whole process of that. When they start to do the transition over to digital, I didn't go easy, because film has a different look, it has a depth and character that is more richer. Digital is good, it's a flat type of thing, and when they were doing it, I refused for a long time. So I had like two 16 millimeter cameras that I was renting out to this company in Chicago, rental house, and slowly the sales for the camera was slowly going down, and I just could not get to the point of just saying, you know what, we need to transition, you know, digital is the way. So I was resistant because I was kind of stuck in that. But I've learned over time that you have to embrace and you have to do things to stay relevant. You have to do things to understand the trends that's happening to you. So that's the reason why I work with a lot of young people, because young people, they understand what's happening. They understand how people think. They understand what, you know, why they're doing certain things, so I can stay relevant. I also have, you know, I have kids my own stuff. I live in a house full of teenagers and little kids. And so they're constantly saying and doing things and talking about platforms that if I hadn't had those influences, I wouldn't know anything about it, you know? So it keeps me young, it keeps me on my toes, it keeps me motivated. The young filmmakers I work with, they are very good at what they do. They're very good with connecting with what's happening in society. So it makes it very easy for me to understand the trends.
Yeah, I think Wesley has this type of characteristic too, because he's very easy to talk with young people. I'm more like a grandma, but he's very open to the new, and this helps a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, but okay. So John, it's a kind of like you use it to incorporate diverse perspectives and in representation in your project. Something like this is like
are you asking me about diversity in the films?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm really big on representation, only because being a person of color, that's important. You know, sometimes our perspectives are not seen and heard. And so I really try to incorporate that. I try to do projects and things that engulfs, you know, society as a whole. But being a filmmaker of color, it's important to me to amplify those particular stories and those particular things. I try to do it with the crew that I hire. I try to hire crew that has a diverse background, that are really good at what they do, but it just may not get the opportunities from some of the bigger projects. So I try to incorporate in that, even when it comes to using women, their insights into why we do certain things. A lot of things that I do, a lot of projects working are influenced by my partners, who are mostly women, you know. So those things are really important, because they have a different insight that me as a man, I don't have those insights. And so I lean on them, from key department heads to producers that I work with. Even when I work with product placement companies, a lot of at least 99% of those are all companies of color. They're all companies owned by people of color. So using those platforms and talking to those people, they give me a lot of insight on how to be diverse and how to be creative at the same time, and telling stories that we don't traditionally see.
Do you also have Latin American people in your companies?
Yes.
You have lots of Mexicans and people from Latin America in the US?
Yes. Yeah, so I have like my line producer, his name is Max. He's from Latin America. And so he's the person who pretty much runs the budget. He's the one who makes sure that everything, you know,
it's good.
He's very good at it. He's very, I have a movie that I'm directing next month in New Jersey, and Max is very good about that. And so even when he goes to hire crew, he's making sure that we have a diverse group of people that we're working with, you know, and that we find the best, because a lot of time Hollywood says that the reason why they don't hire certain people is because those people are not around, or they don't have the experience. It's like, well, how do they get the experience? We have to give them opportunities to get the experience in order for them to be okay with that. So I'm really big on that. I'm really big on making sure that we have a crew, and even actors that fit a diverse range of people, because if you have a character who is supposed to be an old man walking down the street, who says it can't be Latin? Who says it can't be Indian? It's a character, and we all live in society of other people. And so a lot of times in Hollywood, it will just be, you know, a Caucasian person walking down the street. Why couldn't he be Indian? Why couldn't he be Latin? Why not? It's like the debate with Little Mermaid, and they're all upset that the black girl played Little Mermaid.
Oh, Little Mermaid, yeah. Why not?
I saw that.
Yeah, she not real. Little Mermaid doesn't exist, so she could be anything. You know, why is that a debate? Why is that a problem? She's not real. It's like Santa Claus. Santa Claus not real. It's not a real person, so he can be anything. You know, so. Yeah, you know, that we live in a society that wants to limit people, put people in the box. I'm here to open the box and open up opportunity.
Oh, this is great.
I completely agree with you, John. I completely agree with you.
And talking about future projects, what's next? Which are the upcoming projects or genres you're particularly eager to explore? Is there anything new? Will you continue to the crime thriller movies? What's next?
So I have, as I stated before, I have a film called Balance that I'm directing and producing next month. Balance is the fictional story about how the Global Mixed Gender Basketball League actually started. So it follows a guy who wants to start this league, but all the things in his life is kind of keeping him from doing it. His business is failing. He's behind on his child support. He owes everybody. And this guy comes to him and say, hey, I know you owe people money, but I think I have a job for you to do that will allow you to pay everybody off and you'll be okay. And the guy's like, oh, I'm open to it. So he has a job with the mob. When the mob has, when they get hurt, they can't go to the hospital. They need to have a doctor that they go to. So this doctor, who's the mob doctor, decides that he's going to have a come to Jesus moment and tell the feds all the things he knows. The mob can't have that. They can't have him going and spilling beans. So they get this guy to go over to him, not so much kill him, but just rough him up so he won't go talk to the FBI. But he realizes that's not really his thing. So he sends his brother and a friend to go over there. When they go and try to talk to the doctor, the FBI is there telling him, hey, you need protection. And the guy's like, I don't need protection. I made peace with myself. You know, it is what it is. So when they can't do anything with him, they go back to him and say, look, we couldn't do it. The FBI was there. We screwed. And he's about to do the deposition. So the mob is upset. The guy's all scared. But just the way the universe worked, the guy gets on the freeway and he has an accident and he dies. Instead of him telling the mob that he did it, he took credit for it. And so now they feel like, okay, now, you know, we're happy everything's happened. Now we need you to do other stuff. So in this process of doing that, the guy who introduced him to him said, I know someone who can help you start your league. He talks to the guy, they get the league started, everything's going well. But now the mob wants him to continue to do jobs and he just does not want to do that. So his girlfriend is a bit of a spiritualist and she finds his spell book to give him like good luck, this yin and yang luck. And so every time something good happens, it balances with the negative. And so in the series, this is a television series, every episode, whatever happens to help him keep him from doing something crazy, he has to balance it out with the bad luck. So it's kind of like, I help you, keep you from killing somebody. Now you can't talk, or I help you from beating someone up. And now, you know, now you can't, you got to tell the truth all the time. So it's like that balance of what it is. And so it's a series that kind of explains how the league started, but at the same time, this guy is trying to find the balance in his relationship and things of that sort. I have a documentary that's coming out. It's called Ballin' Abroad. It's about, we shot it in China a couple of years ago. It's about when professional sports people players go and play overseas in China and Europe, and all the struggles and things that they deal with. A lot of times people don't think about it. The kids always think if they can't play for their national team in their country, that there's no other opportunity. There's tons of opportunities for them outside of that to explore, that they can go work in Europe, they can go work in China and, you know, Australia, Africa, and there's teams, all those places. So it kind of explores the difficulties that players have when they go play overseas. There's other documentary coming out called Greenwood Avenue. It's based around the Tulsa, Oklahoma riots they had years ago where they kind of bombed the city and killed all these black people. So it kind of talks about when that happened, but also talk about how the community is growing and moving past that, you know. So, and I got this other project that we're going to do in 25. It's called The Promise. It is based off of a book called The Promise of Coonsville. And it's set during the Vietnam War in the area in Texas where black and white kids did interact with each other. But these two boys became friends and made a promise to each other they will always be there for each other. But as in life, they grow apart and they, you know, go about their life. And the black boy goes to work for this congressman, and the other guy goes to the Vietnam War. And what happens is that he gets hurt. The black guy finds out about him. He tries to find him, search him down to help him. And they kind of they remind each other their commitment to help each other. So they're like, it's a childhood story about how we make our relationships with people and how we commit to each other and make commitments. So you think about it, when you was a kid, there was some young person or whatever that you connected with, and you made this promise to be there for each other. This is them making their promise come true since little kids, you know. So that and a whole bunch of other stuff. I am working feverishly to try to connect with people, bring opportunities to diversity, and bring opportunities to other filmmakers to, you know, elevate their career to the next level.
Oh, thank you. Congratulations. I wish you good luck and lots of work and everything good for your projects. I think you are a person that is open to provide opportunities to people. This is fantastic, and you're a hard worker. You believe what you do, and this is the good thing that we should emphasize when we see young people starting to find their place in the world. And this is such a good example. Congratulations.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. I am going to be now you're going to have an extra fan because I'm looking forward to looking at the stuff that you're doing, and I'm looking forward to
okay. Oh, please, Rodrigo, I need his email to send the links of my movie, my COVID movie.
You have really incredible ideas, man.
Yeah, this is good. Yeah.
This opportunity that you gave to the using diversity, it's so important for industry, for all the people. So I have to say to congrats you for this, man. Thank you so much for being here with us and tell us about our experience. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I'm humbled. I'm always humbled when other people allow me on their platform. I'm humbled that you invited me into the studio and then invited me into your home's delight. So I'm always humbled by that because I look at it this way. If you said yes to me, you probably said no to somebody else. So I thank you for that.
Yes.
I said no to the beach. I'm at the beach now, but I didn't go to the beach. I'm here to talk to you.
Thank you.
And it was better.
Volta na semana que vem sem falta. Obrigado pela sua audiência e pela sua companhia.